Yo, Harlem and hip-hop fans, get ready because the streets are speaking and it's loud. Jadakiss and Styles P just went off on Fabolous, and what went down is straight explosive. This isn't some minor clash. This is legendary Harlem rap energy. Raw, unfiltered, and packed with secrets, receipts, and straight-up truths that nobody saw coming. Fans are losing it. Social media is going wild and the streets are buzzing with opinions. Every line dropped, hits like a bomb. Every jab landed heavy, and the tension is off the charts. Fabolous is now under the spotlight like never before, facing the wrath of two of Harlem's fiercest legends, and the reactions are priceless. People are taking sides. Are you with Jadakiss and Styles P, or are you backing Fabolous? This moment isn't just about diss tracks or live reactions. It's about legacy, respect, and hip-hop culture itself. You can feel the energy in every verse, every reaction, every expression. Legends don't just make music, they make history. And today, Harlem made it clear who holds the crown, so strap in, watch closely, and listen to every word, because this isn't just a video, it's a moment the streets will remember. Share, comment, and let your voice be heard. Harlem just went off and you're right here witnessing it live. Yo, Harlem and hip-hop heads, buckle up because what just went down is nothing short of legendary. Tonight, the streets are buzzing, social media is exploding, and every fan of real hip-hop is on edge. Jadakiss and Styles P, two of Harlem's fiercest legends, went to Fabolous, exposing secrets, dropping receipts, and putting the entire rap game on notice. This isn't just a clash of bars, it's a battle for legacy, respect, and street credibility. From the jump, the tension was undeniable. The moment Jadakiss stepped on stage, the crowd went wild. Styles P's presence amplified the energy, a double dose of Harlem. Royalty ready to speak truths that some people didn't want to hear. And Fabolous, he knew the eyes of the city, the fans, and the streets were all on him. Every glance, every smirk, every subtle movement was under the microscope. To understand why this moment shook Harlem, you need the backstory. Fabolous, a legend in his own right, has had a long career filled with hits, collaborations, and street credibility. But in recent years, fans started questioning his loyalty to Harlem, his choices in the rap game, and whether he still holds the same respect among the legends. Enter Jadakiss and Styles P, men who define Harlem's street and rap legacy. Over the years, they've built their reputations on authenticity, lyrical skill, and a commitment to the culture. They've seen the rise and fall of countless artists, and they know when someone isn't being real. When whispers about Fabolous actions started circulating, the legends decided it was time to address it publicly. The anticipation was insane. Fans, street loyalists, and even casual rap listeners were glued to their screens. The air was thick with tension. Some were rooting for Jadakiss and Styles P, others for Fabolous. But one thing was certain, no one was leaving this moment untouched. Then it happened. Jadakiss stepped forward first. His tone wasn't just sharp, it was razor sharp. A mix of anger, disappointment, and authority. Every word cut deep, exposing Fabolous decisions, his collaborations, and moments where he allegedly compromised loyalty. Fans leaned in, jaws dropped, and the camera caught every reaction. Street veterans nodding, younger fans shocked, and Harlem buzzing with debate. Styles P didn't hold back either. His approach was calculated but no less intense. While Jadakiss hit with direct exposure, Styles P added context, explaining why certain moves by Fabolous were damaging to Harlem's reputation and street code. Every bar, every statement was layered with decades of hip-hop wisdom and street knowledge. Fabolous tried to respond, but the energy from Jadakiss and Styles P was overwhelming. The audience could sense it. He was being outpaced and outclassed by legends who had nothing to prove. The tension was real. The reactions were raw. Fans on social media started posting clips, memes, and reactions. Some praising Jadakiss and Styles P, others defending Fabolous. The streets had chosen sides and the conversation was blowing up everywhere. Social media went into overdrive. Clips of the exposure circulated on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Every comment section became a battlefield. Jadakiss snapped. Styles P killed it. Fabolous got roasted. Fans debated endlessly about who won the round, who holds Harlem's respect, and who will respond next. Street-level commentary added even more hype. Block parties, corner spots, and Harlem ciphers were buzzing with the news. DJs played clips on repeat, and every Harlem rap fan had an opinion. This wasn't just entertainment, it was cultural commentary. Proof that real hip-hop legends still set the tone for the streets. Meanwhile, media outlets picked up the clips. Blogs, rap news pages, and celebrity channels were dissecting every moment. The exposure wasn't just local, it was national and global, showing how Harlem legends still dominate conversation in 2025. This moment wasn't only about one clash, it was about legacy. Jadakiss and Styles P aren't just making noise for clicks, They're sending a message about loyalty, authenticity, and respect. Every artist in Harlem and beyond is watching. Every fan is learning the street code and seeing how legends enforce it. Fabolous' reaction, or lack thereof, will be talked about for weeks. Will he respond? Will he acknowledge the exposure? Or will he stay silent? Whatever happens next, one thing is clear. Jadakiss and Styles P just reminded everyone why. Harlem is still the heartbeat of real hip-hop. Fans felt the intensity. The energy wasn't just in the room, it was online, on the streets, in interviews, and even in casual conversations. Everyone knew this wasn't just another video clip. This was history unfolding live. And we're just getting started. The exposure and the initial shock. We'll break down Fabolous' response, the street reactions, and the unseen drama that went down behind the cameras. We'll analyze the clips, the lyrics, and the receipts that have the entire rap community talking. But one thing is clear tonight. Harlem spoke, the streets reacted, and hip-hop history was written. Don't Blink is going to hit even harder. With more revelations, more tension, and more of the raw energy that only Harlem can deliver. The tension in Harlem was thick, like the air before a storm. Fans had been buzzing for hours, replaying every clip, every bar, and every jab from the clash. Social media was on fire, with hashtags trending across platforms. Hashtag Jadakiss. Hashtag Styles P. Hashtag Fabolous. Everyone wanted a front row seat to the drama, even if it was from the comfort of their phone screens. The city itself seemed alive, every corner and block echoing with debates and opinions. People weren't just watching, they were participating, analyzing, and picking sides. Backstage, the energy was electric. Crew members and producers whispered, exchanged glances, and tried to anticipate what would happen next. Fabolous, despite his legendary status, felt the weight of the exposure. Every bar from Jadakiss and Styles P carried decades of street knowledge, respect, and authority. He knew the crowd expected a response, one that could either solidify his legacy or crack the foundation he had built over the years. As he stepped forward, the atmosphere shifted. Fans leaned in, their eyes glued to every movement. He took the mic with calm precision, but the calm was deceptive. Every lyric he delivered was calculated, sharp, and aimed at addressing the accusations and challenges thrown his way. He spoke with confidence, highlighting moments in his career that showed loyalty, respect, and dedication to Harlem. The audience felt the weight of his words, some nodding in agreement, some visibly surprised at the depth of his response. The legends weren't backing down. Jadakiss and Styles P exchanged looks, a silent conversation passing between them. They had set the stage with undeniable authority, and now they were observing, gauging, and reacting to Fabolous' every word. Styles P leaned in, dropping lines that connected dots fans didn't even realize were their references to collaborations, past actions, and choices that challenged the perception of loyalty. Jadakiss followed, punctuating the exposure with precision, layering the narrative with historical context, and reminding the crowd why Harlem respect is earned, not given. Fabolous countered with lyrical mastery, weaving in clever wordplay, rhythm, and timing. He didn't just defend himself. He flipped the narrative, turning the scrutiny into a showcase of his resilience and artistry. Every word he spoke was loaded, making the audience rethink previous assumptions. The energy was back and forth, intense, unpredictable. Fans felt it, commentators amplified it, and social media exploded with reaction videos, memes, and heated debates. The streets were alive with conversation, every corner, every block, every small venue in Harlem buzzing with opinions. Street-level commentary added layers to the drama. People in ciphers, corner spots, and local studios dissected every line, connecting it to past moments, known stories, and unseen interactions. DJs replayed clips, emphasizing key moments and reactions. Listeners analyzed body language, tone, and delivery, debating who held the upper hand. The tension wasn't just between the artists. It was a citywide conversation about respect, legacy, and authenticity. Respect, legacy, and authenticity. The crowd's reactions were unpredictable. Cheers erupted, gasps filled the room, and some fans sat in stunned silence, realizing the exposure had deeper implications than they initially thought. Every glance, every subtle smirk, every controlled pause became part of the performance. The audience wasn't just watching a clash of words. They were witnessing a masterclass in street politics, lyrical warfare, and cultural authority. As the confrontation continued, Fabolous highlighted moments where loyalty was tested and choices misunderstood. He reminded the crowd of his contributions, his influence, and his commitment to Harlem's culture. While Jadakiss and Styles P represented history, he represented evolution, showing that respect could be maintained while navigating a modern rap landscape. His rebuttal was strategic, blending clever bars with historical context. Keeping the audience engaged and on edge, Jadakiss and Styles P responded with layered precision, Reinforcing the lessons of Harlem street code, they dissected career decisions, collaborations, and public interactions that fans may have overlooked. Every sentence carried weight, every argument was sharp, and every reference reminded the audience that in Harlem, respect and authenticity are never optional. The room reacted instantly. Some fans cheered, some debated fiercely, others were silent. Absorbing the impact of the words being delivered, the intensity of the back and forth reached its peak as both sides dug deeper. Fabolous delivery shifted seamlessly from calm logic to fiery lyrical attacks. Jadakiss and Styles P countered with historical knowledge, personal anecdotes, and street wisdom. The crowd could feel the tension building with every word. Social media mirrored the energy. Clips went viral within minutes, and reaction videos multiplied like wildfire. The streets were alive with discussion, and online communities couldn't get enough. At certain points, the energy seemed to pause, giving fans a moment to breathe, only for another round of exposure or lyrical rebuttal to hit like a freight train. Every fan, whether online or in the room, was analyzing, debating, and taking sides. Memes were created, posts went viral, and debates spread from Harlem corners to forums, podcasts, and international communities. The clash had transcended a single event. It had become a global conversation about respect, loyalty, and the power of Harlem's legends. The storytelling wasn't limited to words. Reactions, expressions, pauses, and gestures carried just as much weight. The camera captured every subtle movement, from a nod of approval to a raised eyebrow. Fans scrutinized every frame, creating layers of discussion and interpretation. In Harlem, these moments weren't just entertainment. They were lessons in respect, power, and legacy. Every round of bars, every jab, and every rebuttal strengthened the narrative. The audience was left questioning, analyzing, and anticipating what would happen next. Fabolous had proven his skill and defended his legacy, but the legend's presence and authority reminded everyone why Harlem's respect isn't given freely. The crowd felt the history, the stakes, and the energy of the moment. It was palpable in every reaction, every comment, every clip shared online. As the confrontation neared its natural crescendo, the energy reached its peak. Fans were on their feet, shouting and reacting. Every line from Fabolous, Jadakiss, and Styles P was being analyzed, replayed, and dissected. The streets had spoken, the audience had witnessed, and the conversation had evolved into a cultural phenomenon. This wasn't just about a single exposure, it was about Harlem asserting its voice, its influence, and its legacy in hip-hop. By the end of this intense exchange, the atmosphere was electric, leaving fans and onlookers with a sense of awe, respect, and anticipation. Every word, every bar, and every glance had contributed to a narrative that would be discussed for weeks. Harlem had reminded the world why it remains the heartbeat of authentic rap, and Fabolous had shown that even when challenged, legacy and skill can hold their ground. The moment concluded with lingering energy, fans buzzing, social media ablaze, and street discussions continuing late into the night. Every observer knew that the events witnessed were not just entertainment but a masterclass in loyalty, reputation, and the unbreakable bond between Harlem and its legends. The conversation would continue, reactions would evolve, and the impact of this confrontation would ripple across the hip-hop community for months. The aftermath hit Harlem like a thunderclap. The moment the confrontation ended, the city was buzzing. Fans on the streets, in corner stores, and on stoops replayed every line, every jab, and every subtle glance. The energy didn't fade. It multiplied. Social media feeds were flooded with reactions, memes, and commentary from every corner of the world. Hashtag Jadakiss, hashtag Styles P, hashtag Fabolous. The conversation was relentless. The clash had become more than a performance. It was now a cultural event, a lesson in loyalty, legacy, and street credibility. Backstage, the atmosphere remained tense. Crew members and managers moved swiftly, adjusting schedules, managing clips, and anticipating fallout. Fabolous, still catching his breath, reflected on what had just transpired. He had held his ground, defended his name, and showcased his artistry. But he knew the streets had long memories. Harlem didn't forgive lightly, and respect was earned continuously. Every glance from Jadakiss and Styles P reminded him of the authority they carried, the weight of Harlem history, and the expectations of fans who lived and breathed every moment. Outside the venue, fans gathered, replaying clips on phones, discussing minute details and debating outcomes. Groups split into factions, some supporting Fabolous, others backing the duo of Jadakiss and Styles P. The city felt alive with conversation. Corner ciphers turned into impromptu reaction sessions, with young rappers analyzing delivery, punchlines, and the subtle power moves that had defined the confrontation. Every bar was dissected, every line debated, and every gesture scrutinized. Harlem's streets had become an open classroom in rap, and every observer was a student of the craft. As Fabolous walked through the crowd, he was met with a mix of admiration, skepticism, and curiosity. The fans respected his resilience, but the exposure had raised questions. Street commentators, vloggers, and podcasters recorded every interaction, creating a digital archive of the night. Clips went viral within minutes, and debates spread across Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. The world was watching, dissecting every detail, and the ripple effect was immediate. Harlem had spoken, but the global community was now listening. Jadakiss and Styles P, meanwhile, reflected on their performance. They had set the tone, reminded the city of Harlem's authority, and demonstrated why respect and history matter in the streets. But they also recognized Fabolous' skill and ability to respond under pressure. The balance of power had shifted back and forth multiple times during the confrontation, keeping the audience engaged and the energy unpredictable. Every bar, every reaction, and every calculated move was part of a larger narrative about reputation, loyalty, and the ever-present eyes of Harlem's community. The conversation didn't stop with the event itself. Local radio shows picked apart the confrontation line by line, replaying verses, analyzing wordplay, and discussing the deeper implications for Harlem's hip-hop culture. Fans called in, debated heatedly, and shared their opinions about who had the upper hand. Podcasts dedicated hours to breaking down every clip, while social media influencers created content that amplified the drama further. The exposure had transcended a single night, becoming a long-lasting cultural moment. Meanwhile, Fabolous reached out to his inner circle, discussing strategy and next steps. He knew that how he handled the aftermath would define him just as much as his performance. Every social media post, every interview, and every public appearance became part of a narrative. A careful balancing act between defending his legacy and acknowledging the authority of Harlem's veterans. The city's eyes were on him, and the world was watching. Every move mattered. Harlem's streets responded in real time. Corner ciphers erupted with energy. Local radio shows buzzed with callers, and fans recreated the event in freestyle sessions, debates, and online videos. The city was alive with discussion, dissecting every jab, every bar, and every reaction. Respect, history, and authenticity were at the center of the conversation. This wasn't just entertainment, it was a reflection of Harlem's culture, values, and standards. Every line from the confrontation was analyzed as a lesson in street code and artistic integrity. Fabolous, Jadakiss, and Styles P all knew the impact of their words. Each verse had consequences. Each exposure had ripple effects across careers, reputations, and the perception of Harlem's influence in hip-hop. While the confrontation was intense, it also highlighted the power of lyrical artistry, strategy, and the subtle nuances that define street respect. Every fan and observer learned something about influence, authority, and the ever-present stakes of representing Harlem. As night fell over the city, the debate continued. Social media feeds never slowed, with clips going viral, memes multiplying, and discussions evolving. Local DJs replayed highlights, emphasizing key moments that fans couldn't stop talking about. Analysts and commentators dissected delivery, tone, and timing, noting the subtle gestures that amplified the impact. The conversation had moved from the venue to every block, every household, and every corner of Harlem. It had transcended entertainment and become a cultural phenomenon. Fabolous' response strategy became a blueprint for dealing with exposure and challenges in the industry. He had handled scrutiny with precision, defended his legacy, and shown resilience without losing composure. Jadakiss and Styles P had reinforced the importance of respect, authority, and historical knowledge. The confrontation had demonstrated that in Harlem. Street credibility, artistic skill, and cultural understanding are inseparable. Fans absorbed every lesson, debated every nuance, and shared their perspectives across platforms in the hours that followed. Local news outlets, blogs, and online communities highlighted the confrontation. The exposure had opened conversations about loyalty, career choices, and the responsibilities of representing a city with a legendary musical history. Every reaction became part of a larger narrative, with fans sharing opinions, debating outcomes, and analyzing performances. Harlem had once again asserted its voice, reminding the world why it remains central to hip-hop culture. The night closed with a mix of reflection, respect, and ongoing debate. Fabolous, Jadakiss, and Styles P had each left their mark, but the city itself had become the ultimate judge. The streets, social media, and global audiences had witnessed history. The exposure had shifted perceptions, sparked conversations, and redefined how respect and legacy are viewed in modern hip-hop. Fans were left exhilarated, inspired, and hungry for more. Ultimately, the confrontation wasn't about winners or losers. It was about Harlem, hip-hop, and the power of authenticity. Every bar, glance, and reaction reinforced the city's cultural authority. Every fan, whether in the streets or online, became part of the conversation. Harlem had spoken, and the world listened. The legacy of this night would be discussed for weeks, influencing aspiring artists, hip-hop enthusiasts, and fans worldwide. As the city slowly settled, the impact remained. The confrontation had solidified reputations, taught lessons in loyalty and respect, and reminded everyone that in Harlem history, skill and credibility carry weight that cannot be ignored. Fans continued to analyze, discuss, and debate, keeping the energy alive well into the following days. Every interaction, every clip, and every post contributed to the legacy of this iconic moment. The story of the confrontation concluded, but its effects were far from over. Harlem had set a new standard for exposure, response, and artistry. Fabolous had defended his legacy. Jadakiss and Styles P had reinforced their authority. And fans had witnessed a masterclass in lyrical warfare, street politics, and cultural respect. The echoes of this night would resonate in every cipher, every block, and every conversation, shaping the future of Harlem hip-hop for years to come. Yo, if you felt that heat, smash that like button and hit subscribe. You don't want to miss the next Harlem showdown. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who really had the upper hand? Fabolous or Jadakiss and Styles P? Share this with your crew and turn on notifications so you catch every explosive moment from the streets.